Hey everyone, my name is Tevin. I am a careers advisor and personal development specialist, and in this video you're going to learn how to achieve all your biggest goals in 2025 using ChatGPT. Now, your time here is very precious, so let's get straight into it. It all starts off with a mindset, a growth mindset in particular. Now, what does that look like? What is a growth mindset? One of my favorite quotes from Will Smith is, "The best things in life are on the other side of fear." I'll say that again. The best things in life are on the other side of fear. But what does that mean? What does that mean for you and I? Essentially, it's saying once you conquer your fears, that's where your greatest and best wishes lie. Once you get over that hurdle, that mental hurdle, maybe sometimes that physical hurdle of jumping over those obstacles and those challenges, only then will you get to those best things that you're really looking for in life. And I think that's beautiful, regardless of what you think of Will Smith. Fear, it's our brain's way of trying to keep us safe, trying to get us to not take those risks, to not risk being embarrassed or whatever else. But we can quieten this. We need to be conscious of when our brain is keeping us safe and when we can try and jump over a hurdle. What makes the successful people successful is that they ignore that fear. They are conscious of that fear and when it's plaguing their brains and when they can try and shut it off or at least quieten it. A growth mindset is embracing challenges. It's seeing obstacles as a way of learning rather than a way to stop you from doing what you really want to. So having a growth mindset allows you to take on risks, learn new things. The master was once the student. I know it sounds cliche, but it's important that we actually remember that. People who maybe aren't as positions that we want to be in were once in our shoes. They were once learning, they were once failing, they were once figuring out how to do things, and now they are where they are. So let's use that as inspiration. Now, we've kind of sculpted out what a growth mindset is. Again, it's this embracing challenges. It's seeing obstacles as learning, of course. But also with the brain, we need to be conscious of the kind of language we're using, this self-limiting beliefs that sometimes I think we might say unconsciously. For example, perhaps you're learning to drive. You're learning to drive, perhaps you can't get the clutch or the, understand the road signs. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not good at this," you can instead turn and shift that way of thinking and say instead, "I'm not good at this yet, but I will with practice." That last bit, "but with practice," it's, again, that growth mindset. It's not limiting. And we want to make sure that we're speaking to ourselves how we'd perhaps speak to our best friends. We wouldn't say to our best friends, "I'm no good at this," and just move on. We'd say, "Oh, you can do this. Carry on going." We need to be speaking to ourselves like that. So be aware of this self-limiting beliefs that you have. And let's look at tweaking it and tuning it into, again, this growth mindset way of thinking. Stepping outside of your comfort zone. Stepping outside of your comfort zone is a surefire way to allow you to achieve your goals in 2025. Now, it's important to understand when you're trying something new for the first time. Oftentimes you're going to be bad at it, but like I mentioned, the master was once a student, and how the master became a master was through consistency. Now, I want you to remember that on your journey in 2025 with achieving your goals. You have to be consistent. You have to ensure that you are coming outside of your comfort zone. You are, again, embracing these obstacles and having that growth mindset. So, to recap, we're going to make sure that we have a growth mindset. We are embracing obstacles, looking at them as a way of learning rather than a way of a barrier or a way of it stopping you from achieving your goals. We're also going to look at stepping outside of our comfort zone, making sure that we are being uncomfortable with these goals we're chasing. Perhaps we're going through, mini missions that are incredibly difficult. It's important to note, actually, by getting past that mission or that hurdle, if you like, that's what's going to allow us to grow. We're going to come outside of that endeavor stronger, smarter, a lot more intelligent, and we'll be able to continue growing as we are moving through this journey and as you achieve your goals in 2025. We're also going to, of course, be aware of our self-limiting beliefs. I can't do this. I'm no good at this. Instead, I'm not good at this yet. I can do this. I will get it eventually. Be aware of the language you're using to yourself. Again, we want to speak to ourselves how we speak to our best friend or perhaps someone we care really deeply about. I heard someone recently say that it's selfish not to believe in yourself. I like that. So we're going to use all of these tips, these tricks, as a way of almost tricking our brain into getting us in the right stage, the right mindset, and allowing us to move forward in achieving our goals. Reflecting. Why is reflecting important? Well, more than anything. To know where we want to go, it's important that we're looking back and seeing what we've achieved in the past. How can that help us, fuel us almost, to again allow us to achieve these goals that we've set? It's important that we're looking in a mirror, seeing what it is that we really want, not what someone expects of us. We're looking around in our environment and making sure that we're aware of what it is that we want, truly want, and again, not something that is a societal expectation of us. We're going to reflect and think about what it is that we want. And we want to be really specific too. If you're wanting to buy a car this year, what car? What make? What model? Be specific with it. If you are wanting to start dating, what does that look like for you? What's the love languages that you're wanting to find in your partner? If you are wanting to become a footballer, what does that look like? How many goals might you score? How many slide tackles might you make per game? This is the time to really reflect on what it is we actually want. And now it's time to put pen to paper. I want you to make a list of 5 goals that you're planning on achieving in 2025. I say no more than 5 because, well, if you're like me, I set so many goals. I'm incredibly ambitious and setting goals gives me purpose. But at times it can be a bit much. So I want to encourage you to set no more than 5 goals. And I say that because we're actually going to be breaking down those 5 goals into a lot smaller steps. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you. Everything I'm saying to you in this video, I'm planning on using in 2025, and I'm planning on achieving all my goals too. So I'm with you. So pause the video here, write down a list of 5 goals that you're wanting to achieve in 2025. Don't worry about making it unrealistic. Just put 5 goals down that, after reflecting, you want to achieve in your life. So pause the video here. Welcome back. You would have now written down the 5 goals you want to achieve in 2025. Now, before we move on to ChatGPT, I want to share something very important with you. Whilst AI is incredibly great, it's important that the real action starts with us. We're going to be doing the work. So as much as we can plan and reflect and change our mindset, it's us. We've really got to do the work so that when January 2026 comes, we're going to be reflecting of the great work we've done this year. So it all starts with us. Now, it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So it's important that, again, we are focusing, we're being conscious of all the things that we've learned so far, of the mindset, and we are moving forwards in the right direction. But it starts with us. So I've got my laptop here, and what we're going to do is, well, before I get into the actual goal, it's important that I share what ChatGPT actually is for people who perhaps don't know. ChatGPT essentially is an AI, or artificial intelligence, chat box. It basically responds to all your prompts, questions, concerns with personalized answers. Think Google, but again, more personalized, and we can use it to make our lives easier. In this case, set goals, and set tailored goals too. That's what we're going to get into. So we're going to log into our ChatGPT account, and if you don't have an account, it's super easy to create and it's free. You would have now written your 5 goals, and here's the trick. Instead of setting this big goal of 365 days, instead we're going to set quarterly goals. So 90-day increments. Rather than setting this big goal of 365 days, we're going to set quarterly goals. So we'll be reviewing them every 90 days or every 3 months, and we'll be doing that 4 times a year. I'm going to use my goal for this example, and one of my goals for this year is to build this community to 1,000 people by the end of the year. I think this is such a great space for us to learn from each other. So how exactly will I use ChatGPT to help me achieve my goals in 2025? Well, firstly, I'm going to give the AI a character. Not a lot of people do this, and essentially it is making AI whatever I want it to be. For example, if I'm wanting to play professional soccer, I want to get scouted this year, for example, I can put into the AI, you're a professional football scout or soccer scout. What do I need to do on a football pitch to impress? In my case, what I will do is I'm going to use one of my goals, like I mentioned, it will be building a community of 1,000 people on YouTube. So I'm going to put, you are a growth strategist. So someone that knows how to build things, essentially. Help me create a plan to grow my YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, we're also going to add to this, break this down to quarterly goals. Again, we're setting those 90-day increments. And we're also going to add, to make it even more specific, is break this down into quarterly goals using the SMART framework. What is a SMART framework? SMART is an acronym for specific, so being specific with your goal. Measurable, ensuring that what you are working towards can be measured by something so you can improve it. Attainable or achievable. Is it achievable? Is it realistic? R is relevant. How relevant is it? And T is time bound. By when are we planning on achieving this by? So I'm going to break this down to quarterly goals using the SMART framework. And this is what I will get. So you can see here that it's now generating this plan on how I can achieve my goals. And you can see here actually quarter one, foundation optimization. So it's giving me that plan of what I can work towards in that first 3 months. So the goal here would be to reach 250 subscribers by the end of Q1, which is March, by optimizing my channel and producing engaging content, which is what I'm hoping I'm doing here. We can see specific actions. So again, those SMART goals. The specific actions was defining my niche, identifying who my target audience is, and refining my channel's value proposition. I won't go through all of this, but this is the SMART. You can see here, how is it measurable? Well, we can use the YouTube analytics to track subscriber growth, watch time, and click-through rate. How is it achievable? Is it achievable, rather? Growing from 0 to 250 subscribers in 3 months is feasible with consistent, optimized content and promotion. Relevant, focus on building a solid foundation and community around your content. And time-bound, the deadline, of course, would be the end of Q1, which is March 31 or 31st. Q2. Again, we can see that the goal is starting to be defined here. Each quarter, we have new actions that we can take to achieve our goals. And it gives us a little summary of our quarterly goals, which is quite nice. Now, perhaps yours might look a bit different. Maybe you want to let's say save $10,000 in 2025. We can put, you are an accountant. Help me create a plan that will allow me to save $10,000 by the end of the year. Break this down into quarterly goals using the SMART framework. And if we just press down, this is the content it will generate. So we can build a savings foundation. So January to March, save 2,500 by the end of Q1 by creating a budget, cutting non-essential expenses, and starting consistent saving habits. So here, for example, opening a high yield savings account. I'll go over to measurable, tracking progress weekly. And actually, I'm thinking now for this particular action, what we can do is we can make it even more specific. So, still giving it a character, you're an accountant. Perhaps we can mention our salary, how much money we're bringing in yearly, because that will help ChatGPT, or the accountant in this case, really help you break it down on how you can do it in a digestible and manageable way. So, for example, let's say my annual salary is, let's say, I don't know, $40,000 yearly. We can say help me, so I'm just updating the previous action. And you can see here it's tweaked it. So financial plan to save $10,000 by the end of the year. So it's taken into consideration how much we're earning a year and how much we're planning on saving. And so the accountant, that is, of course, the AI, is calculating how we can do this in a manageable way. So again, save 2,500 by the end of Q1. We can track all income using apps like it's given us apps, ideas, reduce spendings, start an emergency fund. Of course, it's given us a measurable, track your savings, achievable, saving 2,500 in 3 months requires disciplined budgeting, cut back on extras. If it's something you really want, it's something you're probably going to work towards. So that's something that I want to encourage you to also think about too. Whilst the AI is here, again, it goes back to the action, doesn't it? Save an additional 2,500 by the end of Q2. So again, it's really breaking down these goals that we've set for ourselves. Again, summary of the quarterly goals. And this will have, of course, allowed you to save £10,000. Now, this might not be realistic for everyone. Set a number that is realistic for you, and you'll probably find, and actually one thing you can do is maybe you aren't making £40,000, maybe you want to make more money. We can put you are a, I don't know, financial planner. We can put, I want to make, let's say I want to make $10,000 extra. Oops. Extra. Help me create a plan on how I can do this. And we can actually add maybe a skill that we have that we can really help us make this extra money through this passive income or residual income. So how can you're a financial planner, I want to make $10,000 extra, help me create a plan on how I can do this using my communication skills, let's say. That's not how you spell communication. Communication skills. Break this down into quarterly goals. I really can't spell today. Goals using the SMART framework. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter that in. And you can see here, here's a smart plan to generate an additional $10,000 using your communication skills, broken down into quarterly goals. This plan leverages opportunities such as freelancing, teaching, and content creation based on your strong communication abilities. Again, it breaks it down for us, so that January to March, those 90 days, right? There's 3 months. Setting all those specific actions we can do. Freelance writing on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, public speaking engagements, coaching sessions for individuals. And again, these are stuff that you can break down even more. So for example, if you want to look into freelance writing, we can just ask ChatGPT, again, give it the character you're after. How can I start writing on? How can I start writing on Fiverr? How can I start writing on Upwork? We really want to break it down and use ChatGPT in our favor. So again, it's set those specific actions. There's measurable parts of it, how achievable it is, how relevant it is, and of course that time factor. And it's done that for you for every single month. So Q2 is scaling up and diversification, Q3 momentum and branding, and so forth. And there you have it. You now have all the tools you need to achieve your goals in 2025 using ChatGPT. Now, it's important to remember on this journey that we are going to have a growth mindset when obstacles come, which might be inevitable. Again, remember, nothing worth having comes easy. So it's important that we're having this growth mindset. We're being aware of what we're saying to ourselves, these self-limiting beliefs. Don't worry if you fail. Get back up. Remember, you don't lose when you get knocked down. You lose when you don't get up. If you've enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I'd also love to hear what some of your 2025 goals are, if you feel comfortable sharing. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Take it easy.